You're now listening to the show about the shit in life that's just a bit too much from the perspective of stand-up comics. With our hosts, Carmelo Bongiovi and Ken Krantz. This week's topic, Overthinking Part 2. With our guest, Eric D'Alessandro. This is A Bit Too Much.
I got my daughter at maybe it's different with a boy too. Like maybe with a boy I wouldn't be as no, I mean I would still be worried about it, but I guess my point is like you just said, like a boy should know how to fight. Like I think there'd be a little bit more toughness in my head of like, okay, I also have to instill this with a girl.
No.
Just like I want to put her in a bubble. Like I just want to like protect her from fucking everyone even looking at her.
No, it's not. I didn't want a boy.
Me either, because you got to be bad cop. I feel like you can just be good cop with a girl.
I just envisioned my life because I'm like, you know, I'm like a girls guy. I've always hung out with girls. I've always got along better with girls. I don't watch football. I don't drink beer. I'm not like a guy's guy. So I was like, just kind of destined for me.
You should go to those drag queen shows.
I was afraid. I didn't say I didn't like it.
Very entertaining.
I was like, it was a dark time for me when I found out my wife was having a boy, because I was like, wait, what do you mean? This isn't supposed to happen. And it was a weird thing.
You were like worried you wouldn't connect with a boy?
Yeah, and I didn't at all.
And
I didn't at all. For I think back, it felt longer than it was, but honestly, it was only like a week or two where it was like really strange for me.
But it's in your mind and you're worried about it as it's happening, right? Like
yeah,
like
so I'm saying, like, the reason why I'm saying, once I connected with him, like, it's not different with a boy, man. You just think of him as just this angel.
I'm talking about future. I guess that's my point. Is like
she's so small still. Like, you don't know. You have to be like.
It's also weird to connect with a baby. Like they're just.
You also like have to you know, there are different parenting strategies for a boy and a girl. There has to be. You can't. Yeah. They're not doing the same things. Like my wife still. He's only 10 months, and I'll like flip him and throw him on the couch lightly. My wife was like, all right. I'm like, he loves it. I have to. He, like Daddy has to be like tough. I probably wouldn't do that if it was a girl.
Yeah.
But at the same time, maybe I should. Maybe that's better for her to like also be.
Oh,
tough,
that's just good. I think that's good in general to get the energy out.
Of course, yeah. But like, but you don't feel like the bubble thing you're talking about. That doesn't.
You're gonna want to protect the kids.
Of
course.
He just looks so sweet, and like even when my nephew goes by, I'm like, hey,
little. Yeah, I mean, he's a baby. Like like you know, you're a parent of a baby. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I guess like I'm thinking too. Like as she gets older, like if I had a boy who was getting old, I mean, I could be wrong about this because maybe if I had a boy, I would just feel exactly the same way I do. But I'm like, if I had a boy who get older, I feel like I like, somebody's got to be the backup, but also I'd be thinking a little bit about like, okay, now how do I instill these things in them? Where with my daughter, I'm just like, I just don't want no one, like I just want to somehow keep everyone so far away, because now I'm thinking like I'm at the fucking, my wife makes fun of me because I'm like a hawk at a playground. Like I'm like, she does not leave my fucking eyesight for a set. Like I'm so like, because these things happen, you know.
Are you kidding me? That's all I think about now. My mind goes to the darkest places.
Dude, anyone who even looks a little sweaty, I'm like, pedophile. Yeah. You know, like, why does that guy look like that? Meanwhile, I probably look worse than they do.
I've never talked or thought more about pedophiles in my life. Because of
good.
When I had a son,
you shouldn't be.
I'm like, you know, anybody can be a pedophile, right? Like I just like My wife sent me this video on TikTok about this darkest effing thing I've ever seen in my life, and I'm like, they're everywhere. They're here. Like they're around.
You become a parent and you're like, 75% of people are pedophiles all of a sudden. Like, how did this happen?
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, that guy could be a pedophile. That guy could be a pedophile.
The internet brought all of it out. You know
Dude, my wife made me laugh.
It's like foot fetishes. I didn't know so many people had foot fetishes. We were talking about that last.
My wife made me laugh. I forgot what happened. I said something. I changed him, and I did something like funny where I said something about I was like, look how cute his balls are or something. And she goes, "How do I know you're not a pedophile?" And I'm like, I could be. You should worry. Like I don't know. We're all. It's like crazy where your mind goes.
Especially as comics, like your mind just I immediately go to the darkest scenario.
Oh, me too.
And the problem is, my wife is a public defender in Trenton.
Oh my God.
So her mind immediately goes to so there's nobody to calm me down when I'm like, I think everyone's a pedophile. She's like, you goddamn right, everyone's a pedophile.
Oh my God, they are.
Stay away from everybody.
That's fucking great.
Dude, when I am in like I was at the mall recently. I'm in a public bathroom and I'm peeing at a urinal. I get so mad if a little kid comes next to me because I'm like, oh God, I don't want like a little kid with this little thing out here.
Yeah, or anybody thinking they're like, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. I'm like, oh God, like I don't even want to be near a kid that's in a bathroom because I know that when I walk into a bathroom, and if let's say I have to take my daughter to the bathroom, people could just be looking at her or they're just like looking at her because she's in the way, and I'm like, fucking look at my daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know how fucking
it's like a black guy in the 50s seeing a white woman walk by.
Like, you know, one of the weirdest, one of the weirdest experiences I ever had. There's a place in Queens called Spa Castle. It's like this Korean
Happy
spa. Ending? No. It's like it's a giant place. Okay. It's not like an underground place, but it's a place where like they have. So there's like a co-ed section where like men and women, like you can go there for couples massages, let's say, right? But like, and I had no idea it was really like this. So like, we got brought there, and my wife, like, you go in the co-ed place and you wear like a uniform. It's like here you have to wear our t-shirt and shorts in the co-ed spot. So it's like a little like North Korea more, and like it feels very like. But then if you're in the men only or the women only section, you have to be naked. You have to be nude. It's like almost like Russian bathhouse, but it's Korean. It's like a thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, I don't. And I was with my brother-in-law, her brother, and I'm like, I don't want to. No, I don't want, like, we can't have our balls out together. And it's fucking weird, right? So I had no idea, and I'm like, we're just gonna go to the fucking I'm like, we're not doing this. And he was like, we both were getting like so like what are you trying to say? We're gay? And we're just getting so defensive over it.
Yeah.
But we're in the
not a shower.
And then we're in the fucking like locker room, and all the people who are, you know, coming from the men only fucking, they're just like old European dudes, just fucking like saggy balls out, like little Asian guys, one black guy who just fucking came in swinging dick, and I was just like, why? Like he just was like king of the locker room, you know?
It's like, how is this? What is this? It's like seeing a Dalmatian at a firehouse. Like seriously,
I mean, it's not fair. And but there was a fucking kid in that fucking locker room.
Ooh, what?
With his dad. Like he was like a.
Well, his dad's a pedophile.
How old was this kid?
Like I'm talking like a 10-year-old.
Naked?
And yeah. And his fucking dad was naked. And I like, you know, so we had to like find our lockers, and I go in and I just see like he's talking to his kid, and I'm like, oh God, like I was so I was like, I need to leave. I'm like, I just saw a naked dad and son. Like this is fucking crazy.
Other cultures, I guess.
That's what I was wondering. What the guy was.
Taboo, but at the same time, it's like. See, this is where it's tricky. What kind of person do you want to be? The person who thinks that danger
I don't want to be that person
everywhere.
I don't want to be that dad.
No, of course
I definitely don't want to be that dad.
No, but I'm thinking like, are we making it more taboo by suppressing
like
it?
the paranoia level of it? You're saying like
also like nude beaches. I think that like I might be completely making this up, but I thought I saw something one time that's like sex crimes are lower where nudity's not as oppressed. I might be making that up.
That
but like,
makes sense.
If you say it with confidence, it's true.
Yeah. If I say I read this one thing. Meanwhile, some guy like me said it on TikTok.
This entire podcast is us just saying shit that we have no idea.
I mean, it sounds logically true, but
that sounds right. Like it sounds like it because like we know people who get repressed fucking act like we know that.
There is like the part of it. It's like that we shouldn't be sexualizing everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just like there are too many fucking creeps. I don't care. I had this really, really like hippie teacher in college one time. She was really angry that there were metal detectors outside of this high school, but it was known to have like a lot of crimes.
Right.
So I was confused at what her objection was. And Bill Burr talks about this a lot too. He's like, you know, we live in a police state where there's cameras everywhere, and I'm always like the idiot. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm dumb, but I'm like, if you're not doing anything wrong, I don't get why you're so upset that everyone I just want someone I can be swayed if someone explains to me. I'll be like, all right, no, that makes sense, but I don't understand that of being like safe or like
Yeah, why would walking through a metal detector? You know why?
Why is that so?
It was a Staten Island. She got a lot of jewelry. She's got to take
No,
off.
she was like
take off the hoops
no,
and the
no, no,
chains.
she was like from like Portland or something.
Oh,
She was,
okay,
like,
got it.
super liberal, like
Yeah.
and it was like very much against. She was very anti, like.
Well, that's
Bush
confusing.
or whatever the hell.
But yeah, but that's confusing because you'd also be very anti-gun. Wouldn't you want metal detectors if you're super
Yeah,
liberal,
no,
right?
and
Like that actually goes against.
But haven't you
being
heard people?
super liberal?
Haven't you heard people who are really against like having cameras everywhere?
Yeah.
Are you guys?
No, I don't even
a
think
public
about
space?
it. I don't even think about it.
I don't think about it. Actually, I feel
You'll notice it sometimes. I would not give a shit. Take my. Like,
Wouldn't you feel better if it's like, okay, some little girl was abducted and we have this guy
yeah.
from
Here's the
30
guy
angles?
that did-
I was like,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
I got yelled at in this building once because I parked in one of the security people's spots, and then they showed me. He's like, the guy came up to me with the phone. He's like, "This is you," and I was like, "Oh god!"
Yeah, but you did something wrong.
But I did something wrong. Right?
Exactly. I don't get it.
I'm like, thank you for not
Now
telling
I
me.
could be a moron. This is probably what the the tyranny wants. An idiot like me. I just don't. I wish someone could explain to me. So I guess my point is like, maybe.
Well, the thing
There
you
shouldn't
just
be a
described.
naked 10-year-old around.
Well, the thing you just
that's the
described.
point. Of
We
all
should
of
avoid
this.
that, maybe.
Yeah.
Because there might be a fucking creep.
But that you know what you just said though is there's a point of too liberal, too conservative. We'll just talk the liberal for a second. There's too liberal where you just are going to be mad about everything, and like that is actually goes against being liberal. What you just said because you would want gun control and gun safety. So why would you be mad about
United States?
right? But
hypocrites
so
that
that
were-
goes against that principle. But you're so far left that you're outraged by everything.
The left used
and,
to be
and right too. I
The
mean,
left used to be anti-vaccine. Now it's completely the opposite.
Yeah.
It's
Dude, every point of view has flipped.
Exactly.
Every point of view has flipped. The whole like obviously we've all seen it doing comedy, but like the whole like woke audiences or like the idea that there's these woke audiences and you can't say shit anymore. I don't know. I feel like growing up it was like I remember like I guess during the Clinton administration it was like they wanted to censor like they wanted to censor.
Bro.
But before that, I felt like it was always conservatives. And it comes back around. Now I feel like in front of audiences, I have the toughest time if you're doing anything risque in front of like blue collar right wing audiences. That's where I have the toughest time these days.
Well, it depends what you're saying.
It depends.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
If you're saying there's nothing wrong with drag queen shows, they're gonna boo you. But if you're making fun of, I don't know, something that they like, then they're gonna cheer.
No, I don't know. But then
It's-
when I'm in New
it's-
York City doing a spot and I feel like there's definitely people that are offended, but I feel like the show doesn't stop. Like
The fuck, you know what?
You know what I mean? I guess it's also New York
bothers
City.
me. I mentioned Casey Anthony at a show last week. They went, ooh.
I'm a
like,
huge fan of Casey Anthony.
I'm like, what? I didn't make this up. She killed her daughter. What are you looking at me for?
Allegedly. The only time I've ever been booed off the stage was
her
the
yappy
day
roommate.
was the day after the Casey Anthony verdict, and I
my
opened
God.
with a Casey Anthony joke and
my
got
God.
booed off the stage.
That is the
hell out of here,
definition
really?
of just
You got off the stage?
Booed off. No. The promoter was waving the cell phone like his arm was on fire.
Oh my God,
I was
that's
the only
amazing.
white dude in the room.
Yeah.
I was the first white comic that got asked to do the show. because
Last
they heard-
one comic.
What did you say?
I opened with, and I guess it was more of like, some of these, like you do the urban rooms and you can get like very churchy crowds sometimes.
Sure.
So I opened with that I was happy with the verdict, not because a kid, not because there was a dead kid. I just think that like maybe, it was so long ago, it was after the verdict, it was something like maybe it's a good thing for some of these kids to know like there are consequences.
right.
Something like that.
Right.
And
But which is so absurd. Like, obviously, that is such a clear joke, though. Like, do people watch it and go, like, oh, he really does think that kids should know that their parents can
and
kill?
it was like a
you don't know what
slow
believes
wave
that.
of booze started building.
You know what's funny about that, which is what like you just said,
I wish I
kind
knew
of
you so I
like
could have seen it.
people not understanding it, and I think that's the problem with
They think we're
comedy
being serious
these,
up there.
these days.
Yeah.
And I think that there are comedians who don't understand that they are saying a statement. So that's
Yeah.
funny because you don't actually believe it.
Right. It's a joke. Like,
Okay.
of course, it'd be fucked up if I believed it.
But if you go on there and start like saying stuff, like, oh, it's just a joke, but do you believe that? Yeah. It's not really a joke then.
Right.
If you're going up there and like saying your political
Yeah,
beliefs,
yeah.
if it's not a complete absurd turning it on its head, it's not really a joke. That's so obviously stupid. And
I
a
had
joke
someone
that, like,
scream out at me. I have a joke about eating pussy for so long that you sound like RFK Jr. and I'm doing the voice, and somebody was like, "What's fucking Fauci better?" I'm like, "That's not the joke. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not even, you know."
Well, do you hate RFK?
Well, that's not the point. Yeah, but I don't present that.
He had a point.
And then I do the voice, and I accuse my wife of her pussy giving me autism. It's a complete absurd thing. There's no point of view there. There's no.
They might know that you're a lefty. That's why they don't like it.
They might know. They might. Well, I mean, like, yeah, maybe you could surmise it, but that doesn't. It doesn't. The joke has nothing. There's no political view in the joke.
I get it completely, but that's like.
And then he screamed out about Fauci at me, and I'm like, what? What the fuck is that even? What does that have to do with anything?
The organic food is that's a fun twist that I never saw coming. I've been getting called gay and a liberal for having organic milk and eggs and chicken.
By your dad?
By everybody that I am friends with that's like from Staten Island or whatever. Now they're all like, bro, you know they like poison our food. It's completely.
Once RFK Jr. became,
or just maybe I don't know what's happening the past couple of like Jersey's a good place because there's farms and organic places everywhere and they love Trump. So it's very interesting that was completely the opposite. Now, the more conservative people want, like, to get rid of seed oils, and they're more wary of like what the effect is. Isn't that just?
It is.
Everything's flipped. You know, it's
so
funny.
gnarly.
It just flips.
I've been on Fox News a couple. Jimmy Fallon.
I did one. What is it? No, but I did one show there. I forgot his name. I don't remember.
He's got he does a Saturday night comedy show.
Okay.
So since I started comedy, we're friends. So I've been on his show a few times, and I'm very like you. I'm very middle of the road. I fucking hate Trump, but I've hated Trump my entire life. You know, I voted Republican in the past. But I do his show, and the next morning I wake up and I've got a shitload of texts from my liberal friends that were like, "You're fucking MAGA now?" And then I got a shitload of texts from my conservative friends that were like, "You're fucking MAGA now?"
We got him.
It was like the exact same text,
Different
but
tone.
I could totally read the tones.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm not making a statement. They gave my friend a TV show. If they gave you a TV show, I'd go on it.
Exactly.
Right.
I've been on Fox News. I don't really give a shit what the hell they talk. We talked about comedy. I had my comedy special, I think.
Yeah.
I don't even know what we talked about. If CNN asked me to go on there, I'm
of
going
course,
there.
of course.
Dave Chappelle once said, I've done commercials for Coke and Pepsi. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I want to promote my stuff.
We need a fucking platform, assholes. Like, we don't care
I mean,
what they do in the hours before we're on.
Yeah, if I was fucking, if
you had your choices.
If I had choices, maybe I'd be selective, but I'm going anywhere
Are you going to promote my thing?
Anywhere that'll have me. Like, what are you kidding me? That's so...
I know, that's so funny. But yeah, I guess it's just so polarized. Like when you hear Fox News, it sounds polarizing. You hear CNN, it sounds polarizing. So if you say you're on one or the other, it's like, also, have they spoken to you? Like, you're not a pundit. Like you're not on there. Like clearly you were there for comedy.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows you should know that.
I just don't like when that's only allowed from wherever you're sitting. That's why that's why anything you're saying, I'm trying to think of what the people on the opposite would be saying in the moment. Because it's true.
And we all get caught up in it. We all do the hypocritical thing sometimes, but you try not to be, because especially as a comic, because it's like you've got to be able to like make fun of.
I started.
Your humor has to come from
when my like career started to grow quickly during like the pandemic. I think it was just everywhere. So we all felt that we had to have an opinion on this stuff. And I tried in my special to, I opened it a little silly my point was like, no one should have an opinion on this. Like me and my friends shouldn't be discussing the vaccine, left or right, because we're fucking stupid.
Yeah, we're dumb.
We're dumb.
Yeah.
And of course, people took that a certain way because I didn't take a stance. It was like you're supposed to hate it or you're supposed to love it.
Isn't that bizarre? Not having a stance even pisses people off?
That's even worse.
Like, is that you should be okay with not having a stance?
I think it's happening slowly, but I think it's happening to where comedians hopefully are going back to keeping their fucking mouth shut about politics and only talking about jokes because there's in the 90s there was Bill Maher and there was Jon Stewart. Yeah. And that was their thing.
Dennis Miller.
And that was their thing. They were the political guy. Everybody else was just
you make a career on that.
Yeah. Everybody now feels like they have to have an opinion on it. It's like, you know what? I have to start I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I don't
if
care.
You're that guy, if you are a political humor guy, then that's one thing. But if you're making dick jokes and then you've got to feel like
because you feel like you have to. I started to become
a
a comic that I wasn't. because I felt like I had to be.
Yeah.
Which is you're never gonna write good stuff that way.
Let me ask you specifically now, because you starting when you started taking off, and you had, I think probably I would assume you had a big following in Staten Island like immediately, right?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
a lot of your skits are making fun of Italian girls and like people. What did you find that was the point of view you were getting? Like, you need to have this point of view that aligned with that town, or was it just both sides coming at you?
No,
do you know what I mean?
I'm more talking about like the random comments that I would see, like people who are discovering me and trying to read me. My audience from Staten Island always knows that, like, I mean, look at me. I've been like, I was making videos back when it was like cringy and like this kid's making YouTube videos. Like I've always been different. But I'm obviously more liberal than conservatives would like me to be, and I'm more conservative than liberals would like me to be.
Right.
So like I always feel like
that makes people uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
I think it's most people.
People don't know what to put.
I do think it's most.
I think it's
and
most
they're the silent ones.
They're the silent majority, and I think that it's coming back. Hopefully, like.
But it makes the extreme people uncomfortable. They want you to have a stance. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I lost a lot of my like deep fan base over the past couple of years because I've, number one, stopped talking about that stuff, and number two, I'm not giving them what I think they wanted me to be for them. You hear them. You hear them.
But if it's never what you were known for,
you hear that I'm Italian kid from Staten Island. You expect me to just be every conversation to be about gabagool. Yeah. And it's like I'm kind of a weirdo. I'm not really like that all the time. I mean, that was a part of me, and I kind of feel like I spoke about it. But I don't really like.
Gabagool is a part of me.
I'm not going.
Part of me.
I'm
half gabagool.
I'm not going back to that well over and over again.
No,
so
right.
I mean, I think most Italian Americans are probably way more conservative, and I don't really have my friends. I don't have like issues with them in any way because I feel like we all agree. That's something that's interesting that started happening.
There's more middle ground than
when I lived in LA. And there was a lot of crazy shit happening, right? I'd go home, and whether it was my brother or a friend of mine, and they would be saying the other side. I'd be like, here's the weird thing. You and I agree on everything, but you're being pulled by a video online or a person at work you hate. And like at the end of the day, do you want this? Oh no, of course not. Well then what are we talking about here? Like we don't really disagree.
My mentality is that in 2016, so many fucking people on both sides lost their minds because it became so polarizing in 2016 that you watched people in your life go there. And at first it was one or two things that there would be. Maybe it was just street politics in the beginning. Then eventually it became like vaccine. But now it's like there are people who are so far gone from they started in 2016 and it's 2025. And now they have been doing that for 9 years. They are so far gone. I've watched other people scale back and go, you know what? I was getting a little crazy there for a minute. But I've watched a lot of people really devolve. People I love.
Oh, yeah.
Really devolve to a point where there are people in my life who I can't speak to without them turning. Like I can't talk to you about taking my daughter to a children's museum without hearing them go, finding a nugget of what I said and turning it political. That's fucking crazy to me. That's sick to me.
That's almost like
that's a brainwash.
That's almost like they're a friend that got addicted to drugs that you don't know anymore.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
they're not the same person anymore.
Gone. You need to go.
They're gone.
You need to go to rehab.
You're so
and
right.
Unlearn all this psycho talk.
But unlike drugs, there's not going to be a very obvious rock bottom. They're just going to get worse.
I mean, maybe for some people there are.
Maybe they get punched in the face.
Well, either that or like you lose family members, or it's not worth it, and people refuse to go to people's weddings and all this dark.
Yeah, that's crazy shit.
Pathetic.
It's like, you know what? I fucking hate Trump, but I got people in my family that are MAGA. Like, I love them just as much.
Yeah.
Like,
do we have to talk about it? Like,
yeah, right.
I mean,
right.
I know I
have someone in my life where I constantly remind to not talk about it.
My wife,
I'm like, I want to get along with you. Please stop.
Like, my wife has sex with guys. I don't.
Yeah.
We still
you have a different point of view.
What do you mean, guys?
We don't talk about guys multiple.
Yeah, you mean currently, right? Like, it's a whole different.
No, I mean, I watch in the corner because I'm a.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, and even what's the saddest part? The saddest part is this this is bad.
Yeah.
What we think we're saying is good. Somebody is saying, but you're not saying what I want.
What I want you
So
to.
you
Yeah.
are-
People,
you are the devil.
They want to hear their own fucking point of view.
How are you
reiterated
learning
into
from
their
that?
fucking face.
How are you learning from that? Like, how are you? If you're
not
not
looking
being
to learn.
challenged, you know what's funny? I'll be like,
They just want to tell the other side they're not learning.
yeah, it's weird to
You
me
know?
to be in a green room or something, and people are just like, we're all just hearing each other talk about the same thing. It's like, how are we growing right now? How are we
Yeah.
learning? How are we getting better? Just
Yeah.
like, you know, I don't know. It seems like we're talking
But
about
you're
sports or
you're
something.
also in dad mode right now, so you're like, we need to all grow from the. You're in a very
I feel like I've always been like- I feel like I've
lofty
always been-
dad mode right now.
I swear,
You might
dude,
stop caring about learning
living
at
in
some point.
LA
Yeah.
during like 2020, the George Floyd like saga, and then going back to Staten Island. I felt like I started to have this nice like, okay, wow, everyone's kind of exactly the same. They just don't realize it.
Yeah.
Like they all are just creating this monster that doesn't really exist. They're not. No one's coming to get you and kill you, and they just believe that they are. They
Yeah.
just believe that this person, if it's not the evil liberals in the closet coming to get me, it's the evil conservatives in the closet coming to get.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think that you got to just relax, man. And like we can confront it if it's an actual crime and something actually bad happens.
Yeah,
But,
there's
like,
a lot of villainizing.
worrying about it all of the time. I have chronic worry disorder. Like I have generalized anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
Which people roll their eyes at because who doesn't have anxiety these days?
Pussy.
But like I speak to somebody about it, and I've read books about it, and I'm like, all of the things I know is going to make my worry worse, I see everyone doing, and they're not like in their regular lives.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like not exposing yourself to the worry. You know, trying to bury it,
Yeah.
trying to act like get reassurance, trying to act like it's, or try
Yeah.
to replace it with positive thoughts. All these are horrible dead ends.
Yeah, yeah.
And like you're supposed
Yeah,
to.
but
confront
you're
them.
speaking as a person who's actively.
Of course.
You know, you're in therapy or you're talking to somebody like
Yeah.
that isn't because anxiety is like one of those things. Like, it's hard to compare it to this, but in a way, cause and effect wise, is kind of like addiction, where it's like it can drive you to a place where you're not even rational. You know what I mean? Like, because all the things you're worried about are not really real, or there's a possibility of them being real, but your mind has been like, oh, the worst case scenario is going to
Correct.
happen, right?
Yeah.
Right. So like I'm sure when you had a kid, it was like a lot of paranoia, right? It was like, you know what I mean? Like if you have high anxiety, having a kid's like,
It unlocked a whole new dark darkness.
Yeah. I definitely have undiagnosed, crazy anxiety over everything.
What's funny about that is I put out a video about like I was feeling really bummed. I was in St. Louis and I was just lonely and I'm worried about my career and that didn't sell any tickets and I was just having like a dark time. So I put out a video just like, you know what? I just like wanted to talk to people and be like, look, I said like something about what I was going through with anxiety wise, and some people were like, don't be like one of these, Gen Z people with anxiety or something like that. And I'm like,
you're making my anxiety worse, but tell me
and
that.
I'm like, the funny thing about a lot of these things is people just don't have the heart or humility to admit, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So like the medical association, biology, evolution, you're not allowed to disagree with fact. So like anxiety disorders is not the same as someone being they're not exaggerating their feelings. Like someone who's like, someone's like going, oh, he's being dramatic. There's an
that's not the same. Yeah, right.
There's
right.
an actual imbalance in my brain that I have a disorder that you know nothing about. It's not that I'm weak. So like I feel comfortable with that. Other people don't.
People argue stuff like that all the time, though. Addiction being a disease.
Which I feel
people
like-
argue shit like that all the time.
No,
These are real things.
that shit's. My wife has anxiety, and it is fucking real. And
So everybody has anxiety. She probably has an anxiety disorder.
What? Yes. No. She.
Everyone
does.
experiences anxiety.
Anxiety is part of our human.
But that's what people. So let's say you don't have anxiety disorder and you get anxious. Because we all do.
Of
It's
course.
like when people think they're funny at the office and they're like, I could be a comic.
Yeah, sure.
It's not the same. That kind of right. So because everyone experiences anxiety, you're like, well, I'm not a pussy about it. I just fucking deal with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like anxiety disorder,
that doesn't really work.
no, it's a real fucking
seen-
thing, dude. I mean, but I guess you don't. I don't know.
I've
If you don't
learned-
experience it, maybe you just think it's fake.
How does she experience? Is it panic
I've
attacks?
learned panic attacks.
Like
what
debilitating?
Oh yeah.
I give her some great books to read, man.
I know she's in therapy. She's read the books. It's just something she has to deal with. And
every day.
What I've learned is, like you just said, I don't know what the fuck she's going through. I don't know how she's experiencing this. So the best thing I can do is when it happens, tell me what you need from me.
Yeah, 100%. Just be supportive.
And it may change from incident to incident. Just what do you need from me in this moment?
Be supportive.
Yeah.
Know what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
And remind her of what she's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, so something that is very productive or will help people is literally, it's called worry time, where you literally set aside 10 minutes and you write down, what if I die of cancer? What if all that you can't stop thinking about?
Okay.
You literally write them down, and that's one of the. So there's like actual.
To get it out.
There's actual workbook things to do. So like it is a real thing that people suffer with, and the people who suffer from it and don't know that they're suffering from it, that's really dangerous, because they have an anxiety disorder and they don't know they have an anxiety disorder.
They're doing
like,
nothing
I'm living
to...
with it, and it's fucking impossible to get through my life sometimes. Imagine not knowing what this is.
Yeah.
So you project
Which
onto
was
so many things.
Hundreds of years of people. Like, not, you know what I mean? Think about that.
Yeah.
None of this shit.
Well, also, no, back then, honestly, dude, it actually comes from us having identical brains to 1 million years ago when we were hunter-gatherers. So your wife, 1 million years ago, her ancestors somewhere in a cave got this anxious feeling and started to sweat because they sensed there was a saber-toothed tiger outside.
Right.
Okay? So there was something that we had to wake up the people or whatever to prepare for. We could be dying, we have to run for our lives. Now that happens in your office because you get an email that says you missed the deadline. Your body doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Your body interprets this as life or death.
Our current saber-toothed tigers are pedophiles.
No, it's worse than that. It's dumber than that. It's a text by someone like, yo, can we talk?
Small thing, small,
Your body doesn't know the difference. And this is not me pretend. This is fact. This is fact. Because we live in air conditioning scenarios where we don't have to worry about our lives, our bodies haven't changed enough. Evolution is really slow. So we're basically the same as we were 100,000 years ago.
Right.
And so there's so much science behind this. There's so much.
Oh yeah.
There's so much information that you can find. So it's just stupid to imagine. Like I sometimes I think, like, going back to the dads, going back to all this other stuff. It's like, imagine someone tells you something that you don't understand and don't know, and you're like, that just can't be true. Just because.
Dude,
instead of being like, I have no fuck.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
No, I'm just basing that just on. I just feel like there's no way that can fucking be true.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't want it to be, and I don't know what you're talking about.
You've got like the commenters on the internet who say shit like that. But you know what I also think happens is that, let's say you're not a supportive partner and you're just mad, because this happens all the time too.
Or she's dramatic.
Yeah.
She's dramatic. She's mean. She's whatever.
Well, she is dramatic.
And
you can be both. You can be dramatic and have anxiety.
Sure. Yeah.
She's Hispanic. She's pretty dramatic.
Oh yeah.
That's
Forget it. You're right. She does have anxiety.
Doesn't have anxiety. But right, I think that happens. So like, you clearly are very conscious of it, and you're and she's aware of it, and you're aware of it. But like, how many people are like either in relationships or friendships with these people, and they're like, they're just being an asshole all the time, or there's because the thing with anxiety too is like, it does cause you you think about your own life so much.
Oh, it's like a narcissistic thing for sure.
Right. Well, but it's not narcissism, right? But it's not. It's like, but it's self. I don't know, not selfish. Like,
I'm saying, I guess other people can interpret it as such.
Yeah. That's what it is. Right. Exactly. So people will be like, all he thinks about is himself, which is a thing also narcissists do. But narcissists come from a completely different place than somebody with anxiety.
I'm not looking in the mirror like, man, this is great. I'm more thinking like, how do I not kill myself?
Is narcissists are like unbothered about it.
Yeah.
Someone with anxiety disorder is bothered about everything.
Yeah.
It's a completely different thing. But because both seem to be selfish to the outside, right? Or self-centered, maybe not selfish, self-centered, because you're thinking about your life all the time. A narcissist is thinking about their life all the time, but they're plotting, they're manipulating. You're surviving, right?
Yeah.
There's a big difference there, but I think people in your life, back to the addiction thing too, it's like one of those kind of things where it's like there's still a cause and effect here, and if you're negatively or if somebody's perceiving your actions as negatively affecting them, they don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it. Like,
It's also very difficult to hear from someone. I'll even use myself as an example. Someone I have a great life. I'm very lucky. I can walk. I can see. I don't have I'm a white guy in America, right? Who has I'm living my dream. I'm doing comedy for a living. So hearing
I meant being white. I'm living my dream.
well, no,
Dream of
now,
my ancestors even.
now I've been told
Dude,
that like
so good.
now I've been told that even that being a white man, a straight white male in America, and I understand. I mean, I disagree on some level, but whatever. And
You disagree that you're a straight white man?
so hearing me saying I have like a battle, and people don't even want to fucking hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like you haven't struggled.
Yeah, what do you
right.
have? My dad too is what do you have to worry about? And I think that people just no one ever wants to hear that someone's life is more difficult than theirs. No one ever wants to hear they have a handout. No one ever everybody wants to act like my life's harder, I work harder, I'm yada. It's just like it all goes back to insecurity, ego, whatever, and I don't know. It's you just have to just people are no one would be saying this shit and going through. I'm sure you've seen your wife go through some hard shit. No one like pretends to go through that. Like it's
Right. It's like
it's
I'm
a
not
fucking-
making this shit up.
Right.
Ask my wife if it's
No, people
a
fake
nightmare.
being okay. People don't fake being
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah.
deep. That's sad. Yeah, very
Right.
true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, people fake the opposite. People are like, I'm totally fine.
It's also hard to okay. So like, imagine so neither of you. All right, imagine you borrowed your dad's car one night, and let's say your dad was scary.
Yeah.
Even though your dad wasn't. Let's say you borrow your dad's car one night, and it's your dad's prized possession. It's like Ferris Bueller, the prized possession. You scratch it, and you park it in the driveway, and you go to sleep, and you're just waiting for him to know because as soon as he notices it, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So the morning you wake up, he gets his coffee, you're looking, just waiting. You're waiting for something horrible to happen. That's basically what this is like.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm just like something and you
Yes.
it's
Well,
in your bones.
That's
That
a
example
great- that
doesn't
is-
work for me
no.
because I'd be like, Dad, the wine stains in your car are worse than the.
Let me
you were
let me
drinking and
tell you
driving
how
yesterday,
much
did
that
worse.
example works for me.
Yeah.
When I was in high school on acid, I crashed my dad's car into his other car on our driveway.
Double Ferris Bueller.
On our
You
driveway.
Ferris Bueller
You
squared.
still weren't afraid of him. Wow.
He was disappointed. He was disappointed when he
the
found out.
fucking
remember waiting for him
beating
to
I would
find
have
out?
got.
Yep. And the worst part was he was gone for the weekend. So this
the
happened.
whole weekend,
This
you're like,
happened
oh.
Friday night. So I was like, what do I do? Do I call him on his, he was like at his vacation house. Like, do I call and tell him so that way by Sunday night it's not as bad? Or do I give him the weekend? And then I ended up calling him.
Yeah.
I didn't tell him it happened on acid. I was just like,
course, it was
yeah.
acid.
Well, the problem was I drove the one car and parked it on a slant, and then when I took the other car out, I backed straight into it, like that.
Yeah.
So now that we're gonna see now as a parent. So, what did our dads freak out about? Was it the $5,000 that potentially it could have been? So is that what I'm getting this in trouble for? Is that it costs money?
Yes.
Is that
That was my yeah.
Is that really what is so?
I think-
now being an adult, I'm like, is it that big of a deal?
Well, it depends on your dad.
It was for my dad.
It depends on your
My
dad. 'cause
dad,
I think-
my dad react that way if it was $10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So my dad would have also, and I don't. The money would, if it was thousands of dollars, 100% would have stressed him out on the money.
Well, I
level.
went too high with $5.
But no,
No.
but maybe, but whatever the money is, that's a lot to them, right?
Yeah.
For sure. But even if it wasn't a lot of money, there's with my dad 100% another level of anger when it came from I'm misbehaving. Like what it's like he's like almost like how could you do this? Like you're a bad kid. Or that kind of behavior. My
Yeah.
dad, there's a level of that too for sure. That was just like, this is not what you do. This is not how you behave. Like my dad was a very speak when spoken to guy. So like him just watching a kid misbehave, like if we were I remember vividly being at a pediatrician, like being at the doctor's office, and this kid was like just being wild, And my dad was like, this fucking, like he was like cursing under his breath about the mother not doing anything. And I don't even think the kid was being that wild, but it was being like, 6-year-old.
So what does that say? So like, who's really the main star of that feeling? It's your dad.
Yeah,
I want people to think I have my kids handled better than this.
Yeah.
It wasn't even really about you.
Yeah.
It was how he felt about himself.
Yeah,
It's his
yeah.
own-
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so like that's another thing that
My dad would punch you right now. You already said it. He would just live. He would just straight. He wouldn't even ask
he's
questions.
in his mid-70s. I can take it.
Yeah. Now you can take him. But you know what I mean? Like but for sure that's him. But he would have been like, that is not how kids behave. There was so much of my dad that was centered around, you respect people older than you. You do this. This is the way you behave. My dad was getting into fights in the fucking neighborhood. Everyone, but if I misbehaved, you know what the weird thing was? When we got into fights, it wasn't misbehaved. Like, he was like, what happened? I remember my brother beat the shit out of somebody for me. Like, this kid that was his age, 4 years older, was bullying me. And I'm arguing with the guy, and then my brother was like, say one more thing, and then my brother like just fucking destroyed this kid. Like, he was like they were like 13 years old, and my I'll never forget it because the kid was holding my brother's face, like he wasn't fighting him back. He was like doing this to my brother. My brother was just doing these wild hooks right and left. My mom was like, oh my God, my kid hurt someone so bad. My dad was like, what happened? And then my brother told him, and he's like, and he like told my mom to leave the room. He's like, let me talk to him. He's like, good. That's what you do, right? Yeah. So if it was a fight, my dad wouldn't have seen it as misbehaving. But if I broke something,
your dad also looks tough.
Yeah,
my kids are tough.
So then that's a notch on the I'm doing this right parenting belt. Like my son got into a fight, but he fucked him up. So that's good. Yeah, right.
That's all. It's all on his manhood. Behaving well. It's all behaving alpha. Well is a compliment to him. His son's being tough is a compliment to him.
Yeah, right.
We got to get your dad in here and let Eric talk to him. I feel like,
dude, please.
I think a lot of people say that to me.
Dude, please. I'd have to reach out first. Yeah.
I'll reach out.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Hey, you want to get talked about by some guy you can't tell if he's gay or not? You wanna...
Do you know that you're
talking about Carmelo, right?
Do you know that your kid is fine with drag shows? Like, that's what you should open with. He's fine with this.
He loves. He wanted. Your son demanded I go to a drag show. This is the kind of dad you are. I'll start judging him.
This is the guy, right?
That's how you raised him.
What were you guys wearing in the house?
Did you even hit him?
Yeah, I know. I thought
That seems like a kid who's never been punched in the face. I can assure you, I've been punched many times in the face.
Yeah.
I don't know. My dad is. I guess you're right. It's like all the good things were a compliment to his alpha mentality, and anything that seemed like he didn't have us in control, like he wasn't. That's where it got bad. Like he just didn't want to hear us disobeying him. And my dad, who's actually a very funny person, like he has a very he's a witty person, I guess is my point. Hilarious in the way he beat us. He's a very witty person. It was so funny because growing up, me, my brother, all my cousins were brutal with each other. Really would make each other cry. We were so mean to each other, right? And I was one of the younger ones. That's it helped me develop the skill of defending myself verbally because they beat me up physically and then verbally. But if you made fun of my dad, he would laugh. And then you made fun of him twice, he'd laugh again. And then third time on a fucking dime, you would just watch his face turn. You don't talk to your fucking father that way. It would turn so goddamn quickly. And I'm like, wait, we were good. Dad, we were good. This is fun. And I would get and that wouldn't cut, those moments is not, he wouldn't hit us in those moments. He would hit us in the you really did something wrong, misbehaving.
Yeah.
He would, but he would get mad. He would get so mad at those moments.
I remember my dad hitting me one time. My mom was the one who'd beat she was always fucking her. She'd grab
I wish my little ass mom was the one that tried to hit me. It'd be hilarious.
My dad fucked me up with a belt one time. I messed up this kid's bike and his mom called the house. And I guess because I embarrassed him. Your dad's
now I got to deal with this?
Yeah. Or maybe, God forbid, it cost him $25 to reimburse him for his bike. Yeah. But that was only one time, and I didn't really bother me. My mom would hit me all the time with a ladle or something. But even I was
whatever was in breach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that it really bothered me like that. But I don't know. I feel like it just seems Yeah, it just seems like you don't know what you're doing, I guess, if you have
Yeah.
to. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I say it all the time to my mom. I'm like, I don't mind it at all. Like, I feel like as a boy, I didn't give a shit. My sister never got hit. That's probably why. They probably just thought he's a boy. He could probably take it. And I was I was a pretty tough kid. Like, I loved wrestling. I loved fighting. My brothers beat the shit out of me. So my mom knew that, like, and I'm talking about when I was like in the 6th grade, like a little 12-year-old. She probably knew that I was like hurt my hand or something. I wasn't like, it wasn't this horrible, like, please stop.
No, I mean,
you're
when you're a growing boy and your mom is the one hitting you, like, unless you're like a really abusive person who's like hitting you with like fucking weapons, like your mom hitting you.
It was always this fucking black ladle. I always remember she hit me with that fucking thing.
That might be the most Italian Staten Island thing I've ever like. Your mom hitting you with a ladle is like the stereotype.
Oh
of,
yeah,
like,
no, I know
Italian moms.
Yeah. No, I took it like a champ. It was I don't mind it at all. I don't remember my dad really. That seems rough. Because your dad's just scary. My dad yelled. My dad's yell was scary.
My dad, in my head, my dad's hands are still double the size of my face. Do you understand? Like what that's what I think about if I think of like my dad, I think of him being. He's not taller than me now. He's not like
Space Jam.
Yeah, and
he's bigger than we used to be.
Exactly. That's exactly that moment in Space Jam where they're like, "Holy shit!" And to me, his hands are probably. I mean, I be pretty gay to be like, Dad, let's compare hands. But I think my dad's probably hands were like mine. But I think of my dad's hands as these fucking meat mitts. Like he's like, knock your fucking socks
like
off.
Rocky, just a spit.
Yeah. Exactly. That's how I think of my dad. Even still, when I think back to my childhood, I think like physically, oh my God, this big imposing. He's just a fat Italian guy. Like he said it like you wouldn't see my dad now and be like, holy shit, that's so fucking intimidating at all.
Yeah, that's funny.
But that's in my head.
I remember because I was so much younger than my brothers, and so we would fight. And I never won a fight with any of my brothers because
nut shots. That's what I did.
I would nut shots. Exactly. Yeah. That was the only thing that could end it. So I learned early on just go for the nuts and run. Yeah. And then one night, like my stepfather pulled me into the bedroom and sat me down and was like, "You can't be hitting them in the nuts." And I'd be like. You can't ask them to stop hitting me,
right? That's so funny. I had the same fucking conversation. That
why
I was
not
wrong.
sit them down and be like, "Hey, maybe don't beat on the little kid."
Yeah, that's a good point.
Fight back.
That went over my head. I was thinking, like, "Hey, you can't hit the nuts, man."
I had the same conversation because my older cousins, and we all like lived in the same neighborhood. My older cousins and my brother would beat the shit out of me, and it was if I got one hand free, someone was getting hit in the. I was like, there was like 3 of them fucking with me. I'm like, I'm taking one of them down. I got one shot. Whatever pair of nuts is closest to, I'm fucking Mortal Kombat. That shit's coming out of their throat.
I don't think
and that was my move.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did that.
That's how I learned how to punch. Was punching nuts. Like I learned how to punch it was uppercuts. That was my first punch I learned because I was just, and to the point where I remember one of my brother's friends once was fucking with me. It's a different friend, not the one he fucked up for me. The different friend was fucking with. This was like his friend, and I was a little older at this point, and I was like, I'm telling you right now, if I can one more thing, and he's like, what are you gonna do? I'm like much smaller than the guy. And that same fucking nut uppercut, but to his face. And I fucking laid the kid out because I was like old enough to be, and I didn't think I understood how hard I was going to hit the guy. And I had his braces marks in my face. But I was like, I learned that punch by punching nuts. Because I got beat up so much.
It's like you Mr. Miyagi'd yourself.
Yeah.
right. The wax on, wax off was
you did it yourself.
Punch balls, uppercut. Yeah.
Eric, thanks so much for coming on, man. Do you have anything to plug? Which probably air. This will air like early July, I think.
Okay. Coming to Atlantic City. I'll be at Harrah's in July 20.
You just sound like you have a gambling addiction right now. You don't even sound like you have a show
Come
going on.
meet me at the craps table.
Yeah. I have a comedy show in July at Harrah's Casino. You could check out my special, too. It's on Hulu. It's on, if you go to YouTube, too, my YouTube channel.
You have a site with your dates on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
His name.com.
Yeah. Whatever.
It's such a comic plug. Like, I'll be somewhere.
I mean, you don't. If I gotta beg you, I promise you'll have fun. I promise. If you even know who I am, or if you've ever seen a video of mine, come to my stand-up show. It's better than. I'm not just an Instagram guy.
No, dude, man. I worked with you in Poughkeepsie, And those 4 shows, those were fun shows, by the way.
They were great.
Those were
there
fun
was
shows.
one rough one. The late on. Was it
The
Friday?
late Friday. Because the
rough.
late Saturday was fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Late Friday is always the worst show of the
Dude, it was
weekend,
like 30
don't you
people
think?
in a room that held
Yeah.
300.
Because like they were like they just came from work, so maybe you could get them on the early side. They just came from dinner or whatever. And late Friday, they're fucking
The
spent.
early show was amazing,
We had
too.
3 out of 4 good
yeah.
shows.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, it was
That
great.
late Friday, you're right. That late Friday show. Wait, was that the one also where the fucking credit card machine went out after years? So
Yep.
I open, I do 25 minutes, whatever, and then he does an hour, and then after during one of his fucking sets, like right toward the end, Cal from Laugh It Up and one of the waitresses runs up to me and they're like, you got to go back on there and keep them there because their credit card machine went down. The Wi-Fi went down and all the shit. I'm like, do you want me to go back up?
He thinks you have more than 25 minutes?
He didn't really.
So you know what a miracle
He was kinda
that
like,
first
he was
set
kinda like
was?
comparing people's licenses. And
No, I did. I was like, I'm not going up and
thinking of number 2, 1 in
Yeah, but
1,000.
You can't after the climax. Dude, he's fucking murdering. He's murdering. And I'm like, I have to now go. They're done with me. I'm not going to go up and start a set.
Hi.
I'm not going to.
That would've been funny
I
if
should have
you-
just been up and be like, all right, your headliner is back. Just sell about that.
Like the Joker.
I'm the
When
opener,
he-
I'm the headliner.
yeah.
No, but so I just went up and started. The second I told them why I was there, because they were like, tell them what happened. So I had to tell them. And the second I said that, I lost everyone. I didn't even get 3 words in. I was like, I'm sorry, the credit card. Everyone was like, wow, like,
Oh my God, of
screaming.
course.
It was
of
bad.
course.
Eventually, Cal was just like, all right, come on, just come off.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
fucking dying up there after a great show because I wasn't even trying to make them laugh that much. I was just like talking to them a little bit.
I'm only on my phone because I'm looking at my dates. Oh, Montclair, New Jersey, too.
When's that?
That's September 27th.
Oh, where is that? At the...
The Welling.
That's a good theater.
Yeah.
Saw the Wiggles there. Worst tailgating experience, but it is a cool
I'll
theater.
be in Phoenix.
Not if you're one of those pedophiles that we were talking
Phoenix,
about.
Chicago. I'm adding new dates all the time, but yeah, in this area, that's where I'm going to be at. I'm just looking at my phone because I don't remember. Tarrytown, New York, in October.
My point about that whole fucking story was that you fucking kill out there. You're great.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah. That was my real point. I made it about myself as usual.
Yeah.
I was like, I had a really hard time after the credit card machine went
Your
down.
dad would be proud.
All right, Bit Too Much Podcast and all the socials. Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Bye.